All right, so we are glad to have you back. I know it was on the call earlier, but I had to drop off, but it's back now. So we already have the introductions done. So without wasting time, I'll just let you to take us further. I yield to you, Yomi.
Yes, thanks a lot. So sorry, I almost had to miss out on the schedule. I was so engrossed with another engagement. So I'll just share my screen now. So let's just confirm if you can see my screen, please. I just drop a thumbs up. So just drop I think I need to share my entire screen because I need to demonstrate some things. Um, okay, so I have I have two screens, two windows open. Yeah, are you able to see my screen? Somebody saying still here. Hands are not working on my side. I don't know why.
Yeah, but we can see your screen, Yomi.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the So because of our time, I will not be able to do a rundown on what we've discussed yesterday. So those of us that were able to join, so I'll just go straight to demonstrate everything that we talked about. That I will come to discuss the recycle bin and these other ones. So let's look at the demo. So yesterday we were able to see the SharePoint stats page. No, we didn't see that because uh, it was hidden. So I think by now I was able to unhide that. So it should be visible now. Where is that? Okay, so it's still not visible yet. So if you log in to your lab, you should be able to see the SharePoint app. listed somewhere here. And if you click on it, it brings you to a page where you have a list of apps, a list of groups where you recently visited or you belong to. And then you see recently accessed groups here. So I don't know. This is taking a while to be updated. So we're going to go straight to create a SharePoint site, and then do all of this. So on the admin portal, because my start page is not opening, so I will just have to use the admin portal. So click on create. And it gives me the option to create a team site and a communication site. So a team site is what we want to work on today. So a team site allows you to create a site, and it also creates a Microsoft 365 group and other resources as well. Now, there are some cases where you do not want your site to have a Microsoft Teams services or an Outlook group. You just want to have a SharePoint site that is not connected to, that is not outside SharePoint. So if you want that scenario, then you don't want to use this. You may need to click on the more sites and then use this one from here. Okay. And if you look at it, it says a site for a team of people to share when they work. This option does not create a Microsoft 365 group. Okay, this is what we want to do. Okay, because we just want something that is within SharePoint. Okay, it's managed entirely in SharePoint. So that's just how it's different from this one. Okay, then you have the communication side. Communication side is most likely used, or mostly rather, used when you have a broader group, most times the entire organization. Okay. So when you have like an entire organization and you need to, share so let's say you are creating let's say like a party site or a site that a community site for the organization where you are going to be engaging a lot of users and a few or more external users. So when you have that scenario, basically you want to use a communication site. It allows you to, it's content driven. So it allows you to bring in such type of content, and it gives you some predefined templates. So why is template important? To be able to make sure you choose the right template is because it affects the capabilities of features. So what you can do is going to change if you choose a template. Okay, so let's go ahead with our team site. I'll just create this as what should I use this? What did I call this? I just call this. Okay, so that is available. So I think I should add myself as the admin. I'll just leave everything as it is. But of course, you want to choose the right time zone in a production environment. Creating sites. What's the name of our site? Okay, so here is our site. Now, another thing I need to mention, which we may not be going into detail. I said earlier about SharePoint having a permission-driven approach to accessing a site assets. What it simply means is that you cannot access what you don't have, what you have not been authorized to have access to. I don't know. I'm trying to find a simple way to put it. You can't have access to what you have not been permitted to access. Okay. So if you're a global admin, it doesn't mean that you can have access to all these sites. So that's why I was trying to create access the SharePoint homepage. So if you have a site created by your users in your organization, for instance, they will also be listed here. So if the sites were created by users in your organization, they are obviously going to be the owner of the site, like this one of the sites. This was created by this user. So if this user, who is an admin, tries to access the site, and the site is most likely a private site, I don't know if, okay, so this person has access to this. So you get an error that says you don't have permission, and then you wonder how will a global admin not have permission to a site. Is because SharePoint honors permission. So let's open our site so you can see it says team size, no Microsoft 365 group. Okay, so this is our team site and no Microsoft 365 group. Okay, so basically, I like as mentioned yesterday in a presentation, I don't know if I still have that view. Probably it has been cleared out. Let's see. I think I erased it. No, this was not what I was using. Yeah. So I told us yesterday that by default, when you create a site, it comes with a document library, but that you can add I think let me use a neutral color. Or I should just erase, let me just erase all this. Okay. So when you create a site, it comes with a document library size pages. So if I go to the site that we created, you can see documents. Okay, that's a document library. Then you can see pages. The fact that we're able to access this page simply means that we have a site page, and you can see the site page is currently the home.axp, which is our home page. Okay, this page. So we'll start by creating a different home page for our site. Okay, so that's one of the first activities we want to do, just to demonstrate web paths. Okay, so we'll start from there quickly. So where do we do that? So if you go to, it's like this is, let me increase this a little. Okay. So if we go to site contents, okay, I think I can access the SharePoint home from here. So let's just do that. Okay, yeah. So this is the SharePoint home page that I was trying to access from here, but it's not showing yet. I kind of hid it, and now it's not showing again. So you can see the SharePoint start page. Okay, this is SharePoint start page. So you can see these are sites that have been accessed. So it's frequently accessed site or frequent sites. Okay, so this is where you get to see that. Then these are sites that have this user has permission to. Okay, then the site that this user is following. So if we go to the home page of this site that we created, you see a following here, and you see like a star. Okay, so that's why it shows on that page that I was following that. Let me just. So that's why it shows here that I'm following that site. Okay, and then this is where you have the option to create a site as a user. So a user can access this start page and create a site. So when that happens, most times the admins uh, do not have access, particularly if the site is a private site. Okay, when we created our site, there was nothing like private or public. Okay, there was nothing like private or public. But when you are creating a site from here, you can see you don't get an option to create um, a site that is not that does not have a Microsoft 365. You either create a site as a team site, which you have a Microsoft 365 group, or you create it as a communication site. So these are the two options you have. So if I click on this, it will ask me to choose a template. I'll just choose this. I'll use it. I'm not going to complete this. I'll use this template. Give it this, just give it some name, some random name. I'm not going to complete this process. I just want to show us. So it asks me to choose whether it's a public or a private site. Okay, and then it creates the site. So this is the behavior for creating the site from the SharePoint start page. So from this you can see that you cannot create a site without a Microsoft 365 group from um, um, from the start page. That's something that only the admin can do, or whoever has a SharePoint admin role. Okay, however, you can create other SharePoint sites that uses a Microsoft 365 group and use the team site template as well. Okay, so now let's go back to create our page. So to do that, the first step is, of course, when you access your site, you go to sites, content. So when you come to site content, okay, thank you. So on my site content, you can see under my site content, I have a document library and a site page. I don't have a list. I don't have a sub-site. Okay, I don't have a sub-site. Okay. So what do we do to create a site page? I'll go to this new button here. So I have list, page, document library, app, sub-site. So there are some scenarios where you don't see the sub-site as an option. So you might have to come to the active, so not the active, you might have to come to the admin portal here and go to your settings. and then go to the classic settings. While that is loading also, if you see site creation is enabled. So if this is not enabled, on this home page, you won't see this create site. So for this class, I'll just click disable it. And let's hope that it updates much faster. So we can see where's my sub-site option? Okay, yeah. Sub-site creation says enable sub-site creation for all sites. So if I disable this, you won't see that option, but because we want to demonstrate sub-site, I won't disable that. Okay, well, let's see if the site creation option, so it's still okay. I don't know. Developer tenants these days kind of take some time. Aside that SharePoint is quite fast to update. So let's click on, so we're back to the, I'll just start to demonstrate the substance. So we're back to the process of creating a site page. So click on page. So here it brings you to your page. So also remember we talked about web paths. I was telling you that every content in a site page is a web path. And I said a web path is a unit of a page that has a specific feature. Okay. So if I go back to my page, you can see that there's really nothing here. Okay, so and I need to begin to add various features. Now, these features exist as web paths. Okay, so now that I have my page open, on my left here, I have my toolbox. I have my properties, section layout, and accessibility assistance. So on the toolbox section, I have the web paths, stock images, video. I don't want to do that. So looking at this, we can see the various web paths that we have. This allows you to just click, okay, and then it adds them. Okay, but because we are designing a site page, let's have a picture of what do we really want. This font is increased though. This view is already at 100%. I don't want to increase it beyond that so that it doesn't change the experience. 100% is that means that's how the layer is going to be across, even when you access it on your end as well. But by the time I start increasing it, it's going to change. Maybe he's accessing it from his phone. You're going to change the layout. I don't want that. So I was saying, so when you click on this part, it automatically adds them to your site. Okay, but that's not how we want this to go. So I'll just delete that. So that's not how we want this to go. So we want to design the page. Okay, so let's do a quick design. So let's do this. So this is our page. So we want to have of course we have our navigation here already. And then let's have a content slide, content slider. Let's have a calendar, a time that shows different time zones. Let's have a people card that shows the organizational structure and maybe we'll have one more. Okay, so we're going to have a full section here, 3 sections. Okay, so let's do that. So here you can see I have a section here already. So I can now add a web part on this section here. So I'll also want to use this. So I'll just scroll back here. Okay. So you can see, I can say I want to edit this particular section. So one column is what we want to work with for this part. For this part, okay, we're going to add another section. So let's use this section. Do I need this? I think 2 columns or 3. 3 columns. 3 columns. Okay, so now we have a 1 column, 1 column, 3 columns, and so on the 1 column, we want to add a slider. So let's come here. Let's look at, okay, image gallery. So that should do that for us. And can choose the layout. So let's use a carousel so that it's, you know, it slides. So I don't have a picture uploaded in my document library. So I'll just, you know, upload them manually from the stock images. So let's allow that to load. Okay, so I'll just pick some random images here. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so I have been able to select 5 images. Okay, so we have our image gallery. Okay, and we can move on to the next session. So here we have 3 columns. So here, okay, so let's have another section here that is 2 columns. So, and this, let's add a countdown here and a weather on this other side. So let's do weather, and then here will be the word clock. So let's come back here. So why I'm doing this. So somebody suggest 3 locations that we want to use for this. Just put it in the chat quickly. I don't want. Do I need to see a title on this? I don't know title. No, Lagos and Abuja, they're in the same cities across the world. So I'll just pick I'll pick Lagos. Okay, somebody say London. Lagos, London. One more. we are short of cities. I'll just, so the same thing, we want to add the time as well. So we want to have the weather and time information for these cities in one place. What's the other one? Jing. Okay, so you can see I said that a web part is a unit of feature. So you can see this feature here is just about time, showing time from different zones. All you need to do is just provide the city information. Okay. Then you have here, you can have this option to edit the properties. Okay, for instance, you can say choose a date and time format. Okay, currently showing as day, month, year. So if you want to change that to day, month, year instead, so it's uniform, you can do that. So some persons are already in Monday. Okay, so if you want to keep that, I think that's fine. AM, PM is also fine. Then show days of the week. This is what the Sunday is doing there. Okay. Show tie to let's call that time. I don't want to keep this for long. So let's just hide all of that. Let's hide that as well. So it's showing time in Fahrenheit. So let's just say want it to be in this. We are more familiar with that. So we have our slider, we have this. What else are we adding? Okay, a people page. So we can add that here. So let's add our countdown. So our countdown will be, I think I omitted that, be a 1 column section. Yes, so this 1 column countdown timer. So what's the, let's say countdown to 1st of May. Okay. So if you want to add an image like a background, you can do that. And go for stock images. So let's say it's an event, maybe it's an outdoor event. So let's just use this. Save our time. Show title. I don't want to show title. Okay, and you can see the overlay. This background is just perfect. So what else are we adding? Organization charts. And so before there used to be a Twitter page where you can add your Twitter feeds or X feed, but I don't know whether Microsoft, maybe this Elon Musk guy decided to say Microsoft has to pay, or I don't know, but that option is no longer available. Okay, for I didn't even know. I was having a class. I wanted to add a Twitter feed, and I just but it was no longer there. Okay, but before it was part of the feature. So let's add a few other charts. So let's have okay, let me just search for this user. And there, where is am I adding again? Then a people card. Where is that? Where is that? Okay. Is this a one section? What should be three? Okay, yeah. Where's that? People card. People. Um, people card. So let's add Alex. Yeah. I have a G. So just add one more person. Okay, so we have that. And then here we can bring in like a site asset. Let's bring in our document library. So you can explore this on your own. Okay, add video, YouTube, and all of that. So currently we have our documents, and we don't have any view for that or specific folder. But we can always come back to this. Um, I think that's all. Yeah. So we can save. Okay, save the rest. So let's just publish. So let's publish this site and a page title. Yeah, so the page title is what we name um um just call it main. Okay. Let's not call it main. Let's call it M365. Let's publish. Okay, so it says I should help others find my page, but I will not need to do that. So what do I do? Not now. So I want this page to be my home page whenever it has already picked this main. So um, if I go to my M365 weekend, I don't want it to show this page. I want it to show this one that we just created. So to do that, you just go to your site. I think let's just go to this straight from here, pages. But in case this is not there, just go to site content. So you see your pages. Then you can just come to this three dots and you see option to make home page. It's already the home page. Sorry. This one that we're making home page. Okay, so that changed to so let's now see. So I'll click on M365 weekend again. So you can see we now have the page we just created. So basically, this is how you do you create a site. This is how you create a page. This is how you add web parts. Okay. I think we can move on. So I'll leave the Q&A for the next 30 minutes. So let's move on to the next So to create sub-sites, of course, if you create a sub-site, it's going to come with a document library and its own site page as well. Okay, but now let's look at how to create our own document library and list. I don't know if I should create a sub-site. Let's just do that for the purpose of this class. So we go to site content. We're going to create a sub-site called Saturday, another sub-site called Sunday. And we'll create a document library and one list. Okay, so we have all the options here. So I go to new sub-site. We're not going to go into permissions for this. I think Saturday, and URL will be sats. Okay, so it's going to be a team site. So use same permission as the parents so that everyone has permission. Display this site on a quick launch of the parent sites. Okay, we don't want, so that will be at the corner. We don't want that. Display this. Okay, so I'll just ignore all of that because we're going to create a navigation for our sites. So use, does it display site on the top? No. Use the top link bar from the parent site. Use yes. I want us to add this. It's great. So why that is, I think I need to open this page. Okay, so we have a Saturday site. So you can see it has its own site page. This is its site page, has its own document library. Okay, this document library, if you look at the URL, it's not the same as this document library that you have here. Okay, so that's one thing that I also forgot to mention is in SharePoint, always look out for the URL. So if you look at these two sites, two document libraries rather, you may probably upload a document here and you're looking for the document in this other place. But if you look at the URL, you see that this is on a different site called SAT. While this is on the main site, which is the weekends. Okay. So that demonstrates that a sub-site has site page and document library. Okay, so we'll just move on to create a list and another document library, and then we'll add the navigations. So let's bring in a document library. I'll just choose blank. Let's call these notes. Show in navigation. Okay. This is because we're going to build. We're going to build the menu, so that's why I'm not showing anything. So I don't want to also close them because I need the URL. So how do I go back? So I just have to copy this, paste here. So let's create the list. So for this list, I'll just choose one of these templates because I don't want to go through the step of adding the too many things it should add to our time. Somebody should suggest a template here. The first person will just pick from there. Asset manager. Where is that? Assets. Okay, I'm there already. So here is it. So it's you're gonna come with a device photo column, an asset tag, a status, manufacturer model. So you're gonna come with all of these columns. So I'll use the templates. Let's call it asset manager. Show in list. Show list in navigation. I said I removed that. So with all of this, it means that I am going to be building the navigation. Okay. So I have my sub-site called Saturday. I have my document library called Notes. I have my list. Okay. Currently, they do not show here. So if all this, the time I was on checking all of that, that's why by now I should have my document, my notes and asset manager visible here. Okay, but I don't have it visible because I don't want it listed. So I want to also build this manually. Okay, so let's go back to our main site on a new tab. I think I can use this. So here we can now begin to build our site. So I'm going to remove this and remove this. Let's leave recycle bin. I'll remove this as well. So pages is gone. Site content is going. Notebook is also going. So what do we need to add? Let's add our Saturday. So this is a label. And it's going to be let's call it site assets. Okay, site assets. So under site assets, we want to have Saturday is a subsite. Yes, this opens in a new tab. So let's get the URL for that. So this was why I had them opened. Let's paste that here. Okay. So I'll come here and say make sublink. So it's under my sites. So let's have the other one is notes. I think I want to have just allow them to display. I'll just make them sub-sites instead. But so we don't have to do this 3 times. I think this is the sub-site. I don't think I need to have this added to it. I hope I'm copying the right. No, this is not. This is my asset manager. You see why I ought to have just allowed it to be in the navigation, and then I will just make it a sub-link directly from here. Then lastly is yeah, this is the notes. Just copy that. Okay, so we have our navigations, and I can close all of this out now. Okay, so you can see how that shows, but we want this. Let's move this from the what's it called, from the left. Let's see how I can arrange it at the top. So go to your settings. Okay, that's my navigation. Okay, yeah, that's it. Change the look. Okay, so I go to my navigation. Currently it's vertical. I'll make it horizontal. So it's now here. Okay, so mega menu or carousel. I think this is much common to those that use sites. So I'll keep it as this. But if you don't want to see navigation, you can also, but of course, our site has some assets that we want to be able to navigate easily. So we want to see that. Okay, so I'll save. Let's go back. And then we have a team. Currently, we're using this for something different. Let's try this, or maybe this. Yeah, so you can see it's changed. You can go to our header. So currently it's set to compact. So you can make it extended. So you can see it's now more or minimal. Okay. And the design. I think let's have this as the background. I don't want to add any other thing. I don't have to add logo, but you can add logo and all of that. Yeah. Okay. Remove that title. Okay. So, but you can add logo. I don't want to go through all of that. Let me just do this. No, not thumbnail. Just add a logo. This is why I don't want to do this. Now I have to look for a logo. Who is this guy? I think this is a human being. No. Okay, so let's just use something. Try to manage our time. Okay. Site template. We're not doing that because this, if you change it, if you apply a site template, a lot of things are going to go wrong because we have designed this manually. Okay. Let me see. I think that we can go on to the next section now. So I've been able to do navigation. So I think this is the next section that we should look at. Okay, adverb parts. So okay, so let's quickly do that, and then we can take questions. So if you look at the document library we created, this is our default document library. Can we also move this to the site assets as well? Somebody's raising hand. I want to finish this thing so that we can take all the questions that we want. I want this document to also appear in the site asset. Should I do that? But why is my document what's going on? Where did I do my scans this? Okay, so if you have your documents, this allows you to filter based on your document type, maybe PDF, PowerPoint, and all that. That's what this is for. And then you have all documents. And if you want to upload a document to your site, you have the create or upload here. So we just create a Word document, and that will show here. So let's call this come on, week 1. Okay, so call that week 1, and that should show here. Where is it? Okay, I think it's taking some time. Okay, so that's how you upload documents. Okay, so now let's look at co-authoring. So now that we have a document on our page, we have what is called co-authoring, or so basically I want to talk about collaboration. So we're going to be sharing this document with a user. So we want to see this user is going to be Alex. So we want to see what the user can do and how all of that works. Okay. A moment. Okay, so quickly let's bring in the user. Let me just quickly explain this before we demonstrate. So what is co-authoring? Co-authoring allows 2 or more users to work on a document, like at the same time. Okay, so it's one of the features of collaborating within the SharePoint or OneDrive space. Okay, so that's just what co-authoring is. So, but this does not apply to PDF. Okay, so it's your Word document, Excel, and PowerPoint. Okay, so you can work on them at the same time. So that is a concept that is called co-authoring. Okay, then something that is well, actually opposite of that is what is called the check-in, check-out. Okay, check-in, check-out. So I can't start if I start with this feature, I won't be able to demonstrate this first one. Okay, so we'll start with this first one, we'll see it, and then we'll move on to check-in, check-out. What is check-in, check-out? Check-in, check-out is, for instance, you don't want co-authoring, but you still want a way where people can collaborate on a document, but not the co-authoring approach. Co-authoring simply means I don't want them to work on document at the same time. You want them to work on document at different times. Okay. Or you don't want a particular person to change something while another person is still working on it. So we're going to demonstrate that so that we can see. Okay. So you have what is called the check-in, check-out. So you check in a document, you it doesn't allow anybody to make any change to the document. And when you are done, you check it out. You now add a comment or something. Then once that is done, other people can now decide to work on documents. Now, every time you open a document, that particular document, you want to check in and that document. And once you do that, nobody will be able to edit the document. Everybody will, other users will only be able to read, which you are going to see the documents. So I think, let me know, combine everything together, but let's just see the co-authoring first. So let's sign in as this user. This user doesn't have permission to this site. So I'll just quickly start by adding this user to have access to the entire site. So where's my my site? Site permissions. So I think I want this guy to be a member. Yes. So let's go. Alex. Okay. Alex should have edits. Because we want him to be able to edit. Send email. No, I just do that. Okay, so he's now a member of this site. So we can log into Alex. So I'll just go straight to the site. To ask me to log in. Let's copy that. And let's paste that here. So this is why I said that your SharePoint is not a public facing site. So it's going to always authenticate the user. Oh, so this is how I did my sign. Let's change the password for this user. I think I have to remove this because I keep going here. But let's leave it. I might need it. What is that? Set password. So this user has access to the site. And so let's demonstrate co-authoring on the notes. So we're on the notes document library. So let's click on that. as well. Let's go back here. So we have this guy's it's not responding. Chapter 1, tax activity, blah blah blah. So as that's going on, this user is also able to see that. Okay, and say okay. Before chapter 1, let's have intro. What is going on? Why is this kind of slow? Introduction. The person can say, okay, this is about things. So you can see Alex is, he can move anywhere on the page, add a few things, and okay, that will also be visible. And then you can see here that Alex is what is editing the site. Okay. And then you can see here too that this guy, YA, is also working on this site. So if you have 100 users, to show a few of them here. Okay, so if you want to say, who are those currently working on this site? You check here for that information. Who are those working on this document rather? So you check here for that information. So that's basically what co-authoring is. Okay, so this is just what it is. Two or more persons working on a document or Excel spreadsheet or PowerPoint slide at the same time. Okay, so that is co-authoring. Now let's look at check-in, check-out. So check-in, check-out, as I was trying to explain, is a feature where you don't want Alex and the admin to work on a document or PowerPoint slide at the same time. Okay, like you can see, somebody's adding chapter 1, another person is already changing to introduction. So it's maybe like, let me be done. Okay, but so if you want that kind of thing, then you want to go for check-in, check-out. Okay, you want to go for check-in, check-out. So you can see the risk of check-in, check-out is that it prevents other people from seeing your changes until you check in. Sorry, yeah, until you check in. Until you check in your changes, they can't see your changes. Okay, so when you are done, then they will to change and be able to access the site. So you have Alex. Alex needs to work on the documents. So what does he need to do? The first step is that he needs to check out documents. When he's done working on it, then he checks in documents. So that allows this guy Yomi to be able to see whatever change that Alex has made to this document. But at the point where this document has been checked out, which is somewhere here, this guy does not have access or to whatever is being done. At the same time, this user will not be able to edit the documents. Now, to do this, you need to enable the check-in, check-out feature. Okay. So let's create, I think we can close this out. So let's create a PowerPoint slide. I don't know, my Copilot feature is not showing. Okay, this is it. Why is showing on that designer? Okay, so we have that. So let's call this so this is this user working on it. At the same time that we're doing all of that, this my other user is able to also, access the documents and do the same thing. But want to prevent that. So what do we do? User needs to close documents, go to the three dots. I think more, go to more, and then you see check out. Okay, so you can see it says checked out. Now that this document has been checked out by this, so I thought I had it open. So you can continue to work on it, but this user, when he opens the document, it will tell him some kind of story, but basically, it means that the user is not able to work on that document at that time. So you can see it says read only. This presentation is checked out by another user. Okay. And you can't see what the user is doing. You can only see the last change before the check out. So let's continue. So we're back to this user now. So this user continues working on the documents. Go back to home, designer, decides to change this to this. Yeah, maybe add a new slide. Just add that. Come on. It's not showing me anything. Okay. Let me just see if you're able to suggest a background. Come on, like, is this your best? No background color. Okay, so let's just work with that. So you can see that all this is being done, but Alex has no idea what is happening. And he cannot also add his own, maybe so everything is just not possible. You can't do anything. Okay, but you can see what the previous state of the document. So that's check out for you. Document at the moment it has been checked out. So this user cannot do anything. Okay, so what happens when this user is done, with his changes, it closes, it goes back. Oh, okay, yeah. So he cannot try to discard the checkout. He has the role because he's an since an I don't know if he's let me just confirm if this an edit user can do that. Okay, so he is in an option to check out, but I don't think um he can't um check out because somebody's already has already checked out the documents. Okay, so he can't do that. So this person is a member of the site, so he doesn't have the ability to discard um checkouts. This is the admin. So let's check out the document now. check-in, sorry. So added more slides. Okay. So I think at this point we can just look at recycle bin, so we can take Q&A. This document has been checked in now, so it's no longer locked. So if I go back to Alex, let's just refresh the page. Alex should see the new changes that have been made. So you can see. Okay, so that is check in and check out. So lastly is recycle bin. So this is where I can decide to, click on this file and say delete. I'm already demonstrating without explaining. So when this user deletes, Microsoft SharePoint has the option, whether it's SharePoint or OneDrive, has the option called recycle bin. Okay, so recycle bin is synonymous to your recycle bin on your PC, where things that you delete are resides. Okay, now when you delete site assets, they go to the site recycle bin. But when you delete a site, that is a different thing. It goes to the, where is that? I'm on the, this guy is confusing me. It goes to the deleted sites page. Okay, it goes to the deleted sites page. And you can see sites are retained for 93 days and then permanently deleted. Okay, so, and that's why look at, I think that's the last. Let's look at this lab. This is your to do, so you can use this to practice things that we have done. I think it summarizes everything. Okay, so the recycle bin, whatever it is that you delete from a document library or a list, if the site has it connected to Teams or it's been accessed from SharePoint, what happens to them is they go to your deleted, they go to your recycle bin, okay, and then they stay there for some time. Now, retention period for deleted items is 93 days. Okay, and this count begins when the item was deleted from its original location. Okay, and then when you delete an item from the site recycle bin, it goes into the site collection recycle bin and stays there for whatever the number of days that is left before it's then permanently deleted. Okay, so when you delete an item and it goes to the recycle bin, it must always exhaust this in 93 days period. Okay, now in a site, okay, in a site, you have what is called first stage and then second stage recycle bin. It's just also following this logic here. So the first stage, like the things I did today now, after 30 days, they are going to reside in this first stage. after 30 days, they will be moved over to this second stage, and they will remain here until they are permanently deleted. Okay, which will follow the if you remove the 93, if you remove 30 days out, so you have, let's say, 3 days before they are permanently deleted. So if I go back to my sites, recycle bin, I should see what have been deleted. Okay, so I think I already deleted one document. So if I delete it again, it goes to the second stage. Okay, so you can see now my recycle bin is blank, but at the bottom here, you have to check the second stage recycle bin. Okay, and then I have it here. So and then I start to delete it or restore the documents. Okay, so if I go my recycle bin should be completely blank. If I go back to my notes, I should see that the document has been restored. So with that, we conclude the lab. I think we have been able to demonstrate virtually every of the demo sessions I will have highlighted here. So let's now take questions for the next, I think we have 27 minutes. So let's take questions. Okay, so I think I can stop sharing my entire screen. So let's take questions. So we have some questions on the chat. So let's look at them.
All right, thank you so much, Yomi. So while you're looking at the questions on the chat, I'll just
I was planning to send DSS to come and knock at your door.
Okay, they
Oh,
wouldn't
no,
find me actually. I'm in an undisclosed location. All right. So I'll enable the mic. I can see we have some people's hands raised already. So that's Charles first and then Udo. So Charles, you can unmute your mic and then ask your question. Then Udo, you follow. And then right
Good
after that, you
evening.
have Michael.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for the
So before you ask question,
lectures.
please, I would like you to add one or two feedback on the demo, on the lab demo. Okay.
Okay. To add feedback. Yeah, the lectures are very interesting. Now, as if you are designing a normal website, I can see what they did was actually very impactful. So the question I want to ask is that there is something you deleted, which was creating note content. I said, if, for instance, you mistakenly delete what you want to use, how can you restore it again for us to use that feature to continue creating the site you want to create? Like he deleted note content while he was creating that site. So if you mistakenly delete under list, there's something you click and deleted it. So under list. So if you want to create like that and you mistakenly delete something you want to, how can you restore that feature back? That's my question.
Okay, so your question is I think I understand your question, but it's kind of mixed.
Okay.
So on this page, on this navigation page, I did not delete. So you can see that I only remove these navigations.
Okay.
And that's why you can see that they are still visible on the on this view, but they were not deleted. If I go back to my home, you see that the notebooks and all of that are no longer visible. They're no longer visible here. So I only
Okay.
removed that link, but they were not deleted. Okay.
Okay, you remove. Okay.
I didn't
But
remove them from the navigation. You can't, they are part of the, if you want to delete them permanently, you have to go to your what is it called? Your site content page. That's where you have, and you have to be very careful with what you do here. Because for instance, you have the power to, this is my home page. You can delete the home page. And when you do the home page, you now start clicking your home page. Everything will not work again.
okay.
Start having issues. So, but you can, if I go to my site assets, okay, you can see this is the notebook that was hidden but was not deleted.
Okay.
Now you can actually delete it. Okay. And when that happens, you know what it means.
So if you delete it like that, you can't get it back. You can't restore it back again.
You have the option to restore that. Where is this menu that used to come up? I was thinking it's something wrong. Now it's working fine. I didn't to see. So recycle bin is where you go to restore whatever it is you have deleted. Like if you delete your home page of a site, it's just that if you delete the home page, you can't even navigate to recycle bin because the page is not going to open. So your
Okay.
best bet is to get. That's why you need to familiarize yourself with URL. Okay, you need to familiar with URLs. So, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'll just copy this. Okay. So now I have my recycle bin copy. So if I for whatever reason delete my home page, where is that site content? If I go to my site content, for instance, and I go to pages, and I delete my page. So that's why I said you have to be careful because SharePoint, you are deleting, you go ahead, it doesn't know whether what are these going to affect anything. So you have to be careful what you're doing on this site content page. You have to know what you are doing, otherwise you have issues. So you can see now we have issues. 404. Are you seeing a bigger problem here?
Yes, I'm seeing 404.
Now it's trying to access the home page, but I've deleted it. So you can see now the home page has been deleted.
Yes.
So how do I access the recycle bin of this page? The only
Because
hope the only hope I have is the URL, because now the page is not even opening. So how do I see the navigation? I've
it's true.
deleted it. So my only hope is the URL. So and the URL for recycle bin, I think I've copied that. So if I just navigate to that place for this particular site, so you have it layout _ layout /15 / admin recyclebin.asps. So if I just add this, okay, to this site, it should take me directly to the recycle bin. Okay, and if it doesn't, then we are hallelujah. So we have a recycle bin. So now I'm not going to be sacked. So I go back and say restore, and then check again, and they say, "Oh, it's working." And what happened? Nothing, nothing. And then everything is now active again.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why when you're on that site content page, you have to know what you are doing because you can spoil things. So thank God we have the recycle bin
You're
to
right.
the rescue. And I believe that clarifies your question as well.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. I now understand what you're saying.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Yomi. Thanks, Charles, also for the question. So we'll move to the next person.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I think my second question has been answered by Yomi. Thanks. And the first was recycle being in OneDrive. There are cases that users delete items from their main should I say home drive or home directory or any of the pictures or any of those that link to OneDrive, and deleting it to free the space. Then they go into OneDrive, the pictures will be there on the recycle bin or in the recycle bin, but trying to delete them in recycle bin, it won't delete. So cases that sometimes in my workspace, they have to send a mail to delete items. So sometimes links have to send to the users for the users to use that. So my question is, what usually happen that until that link is sent, a user will not be able to delete? But the scene there on the recycle bin that you can delete, but you try to delete, the recycle bin will tell you, or there will be an error that item not unable to delete or something. Is it that the policy or there's an administrative is it privilege that is locked back in that is restricting users to recycle their or delete forever their items so that they will have space while working?
Okay, so if you look at the settings here for OneDrive, so we can see what is called retention, right? So OneDrive has retention. This is not for SharePoint. This is for OneDrive. So all the settings here are settings that affect the OneDrive and the OneDrive only. So if you look at this retention, we have the option that says specify the default retention period for a user's OneDrive when the user is deleted, and change setting affects. So this allows you to choose how users' data gets retained after the user has been deleted. Now that's one. Then there's a compliance I think the purview, yeah, where you can also define what is called a retention policy. Now that retention policy can have an action that says keep. So when it has an action of keep and a user is trying to delete what is it called? Their file, it's not going to allow them to delete because there is a policy that says that that data should be retained. Now, when you now say that you want to retain an item, it means that when the item is deleted, they do not actually get deleted. They only become hidden from view. And when you see them, on the recycle bin, you are not able to delete them because there's a hold or a keep. Now, there is what is called a preservation hold. So a preservation hold library is created that will contain all the items that have been deleted and currently being kept. When you go to that place, you are able to delete whatsoever has been kept on hold, provided as well that that hold has been removed. Okay, so when a user has deleted a file and is not able to delete it permanently, and then they send a link, most likely if you check the URL, that should be like a preservation library something at the URL to show, because I don't know why you're going to be sent another link. So that means the link is not to the recycle bin, but the preservation hold library, where all items deleted for that particular user's OneDrive would reside. I don't think I have any hold on. I think I do. I don't think I have any hold. I just check. Let me try to delete a site and see if it allows me to do that. I don't have any hold. I intentionally did not implement hold, but that thing can get stuck. Okay, so that's just the configuration here. That's a retention policy that has been defined to keep what's been deleted, and that is affecting that user.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, thank you so much for that. Okay, so let's take the last question from Michael. Michael, you can unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, boss. Yomi. Thank you so much for what you've been
Hi,
doing since
Michael.
yesterday.
What are you doing here? You are OG now.
I know, yeah. I don't be you. I beg. Maybe I'll be learning now. Thank you so much. You've been class has been insightful. Yeah. So today was challenging. My network was very bad. It was very unstable.
Are you still speaking?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I have a question. So let's say you're working in an organization, a sensitive organization like a hospital, yeah, as an IT person. So you are to create a okay, your job is to create groups, for the staffs. Like say, in a hospital we have the doctors, nurses, yes, the receptionist and other ones. So in an organization like the hospital, we have sensitive documents, like the patient's info, HIV, and other sensitive information. Now you are to create groups of the staffs and give them access based on the documents that they have access to. Now you should be working with. So I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so you should be working with SharePoint, Microsoft Purview. So creating sensitive label, and also on the document library. Now where you will have those information. those documents. Now you have to give these groups, like the doctors now, you have a group for them, the nurses have a group for them. According to them, you have to give them access to this document, to this data, this info. I don't know. Can you give like a practical step about how to do that? I don't know if you can demonstrate that here, or if you can't, maybe you can just explain how that should be done. I don't know if my question is clear.
So I have a follow-up question, and that is, what in specific term do you want them to have access to?
Specific time.
Yeah, you say give them access, but you didn't say access to what? The site, the list, the document library, a specific folder. Where exactly?
Yes, the info on the document library.
Which info? If a specific file, a folder, or the entire document library?
No, a specific file. Like we have different files. Let's say the HIV information for patients that should only be seen by doctors. And yes, doctors, the nurses there, nurses don't cannot have access to it, even the director of the hospital. Then for finance documents, then it is the finance team that should be able to have access to it from your settings in Microsoft.
So I get
Can
your
you hear?
question, and I won't be able to demonstrate because it's outside the scope of this training. So, but for that, I think it's best to create subsites, and then when creating the subsite, you choose the option not to inherit permission from parents, so that the subsite will have its own permission. And once you do that, you can now add doctors to those specific subsites, and they are the only one that will see the site and will be able to access it. Okay, and then for the nurses as well, you can also create a document library for them, and that document library also you can also break inheritance for that, so that only the nurses will have access to that. So basically, in SharePoint, you can define who has access to what. Earlier I gave Alex access to the entire site, and he's able to access everything. Another thing I could do would have been to share a specific document library, maybe the notes, to Alex. So Alex will be able to access the notes and not the list asset manager that we created. Okay, so SharePoint allows you to do that.
So can we create the groups in? We can create the groups in like a Microsoft 365 group in Entra ID, like group for doctors, for nurses.
Yes, you can have a security group where you have all the doctors added, and it's another one where you have all the nurses added. So you just need to add that group when you're adding the permission in SharePoint. So that's how you manage the permission.
Yeah, how do we link it to Microsoft Azure?
I won't be able to discuss anything on Purview.
Okay,
so that will be handled.
I understand.
Michael, this is an introductory class. So you're taking us far.
Apologies.
And I've brought him back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, boss. Thank you so much, boss. Thank you, my bosses.
Yeah, but just to align, it's not a bad question actually. It's just because it's actually intersects with another topic, and it's largely even on that side, which is Microsoft Purview. You can see some people already mentioned that on the chat. So what you are talking about is basically data protection, and it's largely on the Purview side. SharePoint is just like where it becomes shown, but the configuration, the administration you're looking for will largely be on the purview. So I'll just say maybe save that question to when we have the purview class. I'm sure you'll be able to relate then.
Okay, boss. Thank you so much.
All right, my Oga. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks, Oga Yomi. So I think one more person raised their hand. I saw that. Okay, so that's Isosa is one of our regular. So I'll just allow your mic so you can unmute and speak. Hello, Isosa. You can unmute your mic and speak if you are speaking actively. Yes, so your mic has been enabled. So you have to unmute it yourself. So just go to the microphone button. Okay. Let me try it again. So I enabled it. Okay. I've disabled it again and now. Okay, now it's enabled. Please check again. Try to unmute it.
You can type your question.
Yeah, you can type a question actually, but you're actually on mute. You are enabled to speak. You just have to unmute your mic. But if you can't, you can just type a question. Okay, so while we're waiting for your question, are there any other questions as regarding our training today on SharePoint sites and the permissions? Okay, so your mini question is he wanted to ask about labeling, meta tagging, and versioning in SharePoint. So do you want to touch on that?
I only briefly because it's outside the scope of our discussion. So where what is called content management, which basically allows you to manage your content in a document library. So for instance, if you look at the document I created, you want to assign that document to a particular type so that it can easily be managed. So for instance, you have a document library that has maybe 1,000 documents. You want to know which documents are related to proposals, which documents are related to invoicing, which documents are related to what is that thing called now? Contract agreements. So the meta tagging allows you to define these specific attributes, and then you can enforce it for a document library that once a document is created or uploaded, it is the appropriate tag is added for that document. Okay, and so that explains labeling or meta tagging. Okay, and the appropriate word for that is metadata. Then the versioning in SharePoint is also there. So you have like different versions of documents which you can see. So if you go to the document that I have here, the notes, you observe that this document presentation had a previous version. So if you go to version history, you'll be able to see the versions that exist for this document. So you can see the version where I added a slide. This version when it was created. Okay. So version history allows you to keep records of changes that have been made to documents, either by the same user or different users. And keeping the changes allow you to revert to the previous document at any time. So for instance, this user says this slides, something happened and they want to go back to how it was before. Then they just need to go to the version history and then click here, it will open it. But to add, your version history and recycle bin contributes to your storage space. Okay, contribute to your storage space, and they can get clogged up and you start running out of SharePoint storage. So just take note of that. Okay, I think we can stop here. So thank you everyone. So this ends our training today on the SharePoint part 1. So next week we'll have a session on SharePoint. It's going to be handled by another person. Okay. So Adekunle, please, you help to. Okay, I think I'll just reach out. So you let the next person know that we've covered the site assets. So and we've looked at sites and document library, so they can look on adding bidding on that.
All right. Thank you so much. Yomi. Thank you, everyone. Please, let's appreciate our speaker and mentor for tonight, in person of Yomi Aledare. He has been able to break down this site's assets on SharePoint. Yes, he's a prof. Thank you so much, ISO Prof Yomi. Thank you, guys. So it was so nice having you guys. Just as he has said, we would continue next week and build on what he has laid the foundation of as we go deeper into the SharePoint administration. So don't forget, Saturday, same time by 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. West African time would continue. And also, if you've missed other technologies that has been discussed, don't forget you can always go back to YouTube. And also, this class would also be uploaded to the YouTube channel tonight, just after this meeting. So if there's some part you wanted to see, you can always go back to it. And also in the chat, you'd find Yomi's social media handles. So if you want to follow him or any other mentors, they are also, you can always find them on the social media pages.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
just
Thank you, guys.
free to chat me up on LinkedIn or have any
Yeah,
other
chat him
follow-up
up.
question
If you have issues, he
or
will
issues with the
consult for
lab.
you. If you have issues, he's consulting.
Yeah, it has to be with the lab. If it's outside that,